You don't want to stand there. Hey, you don't.
These cops are watching this happen. There's another one.
Hey! Yeah, you didn't even get out of here. Person of America, but she had to tell me she was black.
You came to the most liberal campus in Ohio and didn't expect this reaction?
I thought you guys were tolerant.
Pick for me, girl.
You wouldn't know a president if it hit you in the face!
Gun control was one of the topics that students really didn't know a lot about. I held several pro-gun events on my campus, and it was all inspired to get my university, Kent State University in Ohio, in Kent, Ohio, to change their policy. Because actually in Ohio, a lot of people don't know this, that it is required by state law that all public universities have to allow guests that don't attend their campus to open carry a firearm on campus grounds, on campus property, but the school is left up to make the decision whether or not they let students do the same thing. My school did not allow me as a student to open carry, conceal carry, anything and defend myself, but visitors were allowed to walk onto my campus with any gun that they wanted. So the day I graduated, I went back to campus because I was no longer a student, I was a visitor, and I carried my AR-10 in protest of these insane policies that I could not even have my little tiny handgun with me to protect myself in my dorm, in my classroom, but by golly, I could walk on campus the day of graduation with an AR-10.
That's incredible.
It would be okay.
That is absolutely incredible. And let me ask you, Kaitlin, were there ever any times while you were a student on campus that you felt like you wish you could have been able to carry?
Yeah, there's quite a few times. Students actually there would send me rape and death threats because of my opinions. I actually have the email saved that this one student emailed me. It was a vulgar description of how she wanted me to be raped. And there's been other personal incidents that I don't really want to get into that I do wish I had a firearm on me, but I wasn't allowed.
Wow, I know I've seen a lot of your videos, and let me tell you, Kaitlin, you are so courageous. I mean, I've seen people spit on you and throw things at you. I mean, what gives you that courage in order to step out and speak conservative values with other people?
I think what gives me the courage is that I don't like being told what to do. I don't like it. And especially from people who don't even know if they're a boy or a girl. They don't know which bathroom to use. I do not take criticisms from people like that because I wouldn't seek advice from them either. So it doesn't bother me. It actually bothers me more to not go out and do something like that. I've also witnessed, and before I became a YouTuber or whatever you want to call it, I followed a lot of people that made YouTube videos for conservatives, and I noticed that something was missing. They sat in their room and they would talk to their webcam. They weren't going out into the lion's den and actually facing the people that they say are so wrong. So I wanted to be that person that I put my money where my mouth is, and I went to the people that we always talk crap about, the college kids, the indoctrination centers. And that's why my YouTube and my work has been so successful, because I'm one of the only people that actually, I'm not speaking at campuses, I'm not holding events, I'm just going there and I'm talking to them directly.
And that's fantastic, Kaitlin. But let me ask you, being that you just finished bringing up the education and how this indoctrination is happening on our campuses, what can you say or what can you recommend, being that you've talked to so many students, what can fill that gap?
Do not send your kids to public school. Like, I don't even know how else to word it. There's no fixing it. The pendulum is going to have to swing naturally back to where you want it to be. Because we see that in cultures and societies that the pendulum swings. There's generations that are more geared towards traditional values, and then we have this generation, Lord help them, that think that they need to be on OnlyFans and never get married and have abortions. One day the pendulum will swing back, but for now, what I would say is do not send your kids to a public education. You need to work out something to be able to homeschool them and convince them that they don't need to go to college. We are telling women and young girls and children from the time that they're in pre-K that they need to strive to be career driven. And instead of being a mother, instead of being a homemaker, anything like that, we're telling them that they are men. Not only have we gone the step of you can do what men do, you can do it better. Now we're telling little girls that they actually might be men, and that's not okay. So just don't go there. Don't enroll. Don't give them your money. Focus on your family.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for that input. Let me also ask you now, I mean, what happened with the massacre in Colorado? What kind of insight can you give with respect to that? How can you defend our Second Amendment when you see that this massacre just took place in Colorado? What would you say to people?
Well, if people can read, and I can read, and I'm sure everybody out there who pushes for gun control can read, the Second Amendment says shall not be infringed. There is no other excuse that I need to bring up other than that is my God-given right, is to defend myself. I also would like to point out, and this may be for the audience, if you're talking to somebody and you find yourself frustrated because you don't know what to say, because while these massacres are so disgusting and vile, what I can offer to them is my condemnation and my condolences. I cannot offer my firearms up to the government because of what happened. That's a perfect example of why I need firearms. And also in Colorado, there's a lot of gun control there. All of these things that they want to push nationwide have been implemented in Colorado, and it didn't save a single life. So I would honestly ask them, if there's anybody listening who's looking for advice, ask them what they want and then show them how it doesn't work. And if they don't get it, then they don't get it. Don't give up your guns.
Very good. Let me also ask you, now that the massacre happened, unfortunately, and people are suffering, now Biden is saying that he's passing an executive order to restrict weapons, right? It's the large capacity magazines and assault weapons. What do you say about that?
So actually, 80% of mass shootings are carried out with a handgun, not an assault weapon that actually doesn't even exist. My AR-15 and my AR-10 fire at the same rate as a handgun. So a lot of times when people push these things and they use that terminology, it's because they've never actually shot a gun. And that's what's sad. And if you have friends out there that are touting this stuff, offer to take them shooting, so that they can understand that they all work the same way. It doesn't matter how many rounds that, a large capacity magazine, I'm sure Biden will probably call it a clip incorrectly. I'm waiting for that gaffe. But, when we limit what we think criminals will be able to get, you're actually just limiting what I'm able to get. Criminals are going to listen. Someone who wants to carry out a mass shooting isn't going to listen to a capacity limit. He's going to do whatever can get him the most damage. And if that is having a 30-round magazine, he'll do it. Or is that having 10 rounds, 10 magazines on his person, that have 10 each in them? What's that do? That doesn't stop anything. So I just think it's silly. These are feel-good policies that people think they're doing to help, but in reality, they're not helping anything, and the statistics show that.
Well, thank you for this response of yours, Kaitlin. We really appreciate it, and we really appreciate your insight. We're going to go ahead and take a short break right now, and we'll be right back.
For me, my religion is just an enormous sense of solace.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing.
All right, folks, we're back. Duke Machado. I'm joining the show here. I've got Maiden and Kaitlin here. Amazing. When I heard that we were going to do this interview, I immediately went and started looking up some videos. And I think one of them called you the most hated conservative woman or something like that. title is?
Yeah.
So, you know, you're beyond, you go beyond. I mean, you come in really nice, you come in kind of sweet with just a little docile question. And, you know, they kind of, these students that you talk to, they kind of feel comfortable enough to, you know, they can outwit you, they think. And so then they respond, and then you just hit them with that punchline or whatever it is. And they're baffled. And immediately, though, they will not accept the truth at that moment. And they have to vilify you. Otherwise, there's no way for them to save face. It's like you trap them. You hit them with a checkmate. So tell me about what your process is, how you do all that.
So I would say the first thing is we never just walk onto a campus unprepared. I have a topic in mind. I feel strongly enough about that topic to where I know the facts and I can back myself up. One of the most important things that someone in my position can do is to research, study what you want to be able to know and say, so you don't look silly, because I have hundreds of cameras on me. Of course, they go and they clip up my videos and lie about me, but I always feel strongly enough about a topic that I know what I'm saying. I would say that because I'm surrounded by opinions that don't agree with me, people that don't agree with me, that I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I am pretty well versed in what I believe in, because I'm constantly putting myself in the position to hear the side that I agree with. So I know what they think, I know their arguments, and I go home and I find rebuttals, or I want to fact check things. But mostly, you got to have fun with it. I go out there and I just have a lot of fun. I don't put too much thought into it after the topic and the research. I just go out there and I let things flow. I respond naturally, and I have a little bit of sass and a little bit of spunk. And people say I'm too aggressive or I'm too mean. I don't care. I just don't care. If you think I'm too aggressive or I'm too, that's probably why we're in the position we're in this country, where, Biden president, and now there's a man acting like a woman as part of our health secretary.
That's crazy. That's crazy. One more question, Maiden, and then I'll leave it back to you. What do you find that these people you talk to are most fearful of?
That's a good question. What are they most fearful of? They are fearful, I would say, they're fearful of people thinking differently than them and not being persuaded or forced to think like them. I think they're scared of women choosing tradition and choosing motherhood. I think they're scared of men choosing to be manly and masculine. They hate the thought of a nuclear family. They hate that. They hate the thought of a woman being pro-life. They hate babies and pregnancy. Simply are terrified that their tactics of violence and coercion and threats, their threats aren't going to work on people like me. And I know your audience, it's not working on them. So that's what they hate. They hate people that think like this, and they're scared that we'll never fall in line.
Yeah. They don't want to be woke. They say they're woke, but they don't really want to be woke.
No, when they have to pay taxes, and if they have a family one day and they realize what's getting taken out of their paycheck, wake them up.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm out of here. Thank you so much, Maiden, for the time. And thank you, Kaitlin. Go ahead. Thank
you for that, Duke. Well, Kaitlin, thank you so much for that last response. When you mentioned about the nuclear family and how important it is, I feel like women have really come under attack. The femininity is something that's bad. Being a stay-at-home mom is something that's terrible. It's just awful. What can we do as women, okay, that could possibly turn that around with the Generation Z or the millennials? How can we try to give them a different perspective that this is not something negative to be?
Ask them if they're happy. Ask them if they're happy with their lifestyle and what they're doing right now. Are they happy finding a new man every other day? Are they happy selling nude pictures of themselves for $5.99 on OnlyFans? Or does their bio on Twitter and Instagram have a self-diagnosed mental illness labeled out there? If you notice the people who criticize lifestyles like mine and probably many of your audience, the first thing, if you go on their social media in their biography that they write, is they've diagnosed themselves with some type of mental illness, depression, anxiety, something like that. Obviously, their lifestyle isn't working out for them. And what Cardi B and all of these other rappers and mainstream media is promoting to them is obviously not working. That's why ever since in the 1960s, we had the sexual revolution from feminists telling women that not only are their bodies just out for open, which I don't know, seems like it would benefit the patriarchy more than it would benefit women in this country. They told them to stop caring about themselves, go have fun for the pleasure of it. And all of a sudden, rapes went up, sexual assaults went up, depression went up, divorce rates went up, and suicides have gone up. There's a reason. It's because those lifestyles do not fulfill us emotionally and mentally. And it's not working. It's not working. So to convince other people, I don't know, if it's your family member, you need to sit down with them and be like, look, here's some numbers to back up what I'm saying, but also come from a place of compassion. I choose to live this way, and I hope other women would choose to live this way because it's best for their mental health. And I truly feel that this is what the American family is supposed to be, and there's nothing wrong with it. Be proud to have a nuclear family.
Well, I can tell you, as Hispanics, God, family, and country is at the very core of who we are. And we're all Americans, right? We're all colors and creeds here in the United States. And I also feel that our faith is under attack, right? Having a Christ-centered or biblical-based foundation for our family, which encompasses, of course, the nuclear family. I feel our faith is under attack. When you go out and you speak with the public, do they also attack your faith, and why do they attack your faith?
So I actually don't ever take a faith-based approach to any of my arguments. I don't ever do that. Religion is something that I've always gone back and forth about, and that's something I really keep private, is my feelings towards religion and all that stuff. And I'm always a growing person, so I'm not sure what the future holds or anything like that, but they do try to come at me from attacking what religion they think that I am. They don't know because I've never talked about it, but they assume because I'm white and I'm pro-life and I'm pro-Trump and I'm a Christian because I align with those values. They've never actually asked me what I align with, but they don't care because if I look and sound like a Christian, they hate Christianity. And I don't know if it's because they don't like the idea of an authority over them. That's what God tells us what we can and can't do and how we should and should not act and what is and is not sinful. I don't know if they don't like the idea of being told what to do, or if they simply just, I don't know. They just hate the ideals that God and Jesus would promote. And I would say that's the conservative lifestyle. And where do we derive our ideals from? Jesus and the Lord. And I don't know, is it the hierarchy thing, the authority they don't like, or is it the way of life they don't like? So they do attack that a lot without even knowing a thing about me. So
that's very unfortunate, but I'm sure it's not uncommon either. We're going to go ahead and take a short break, Kaitlin. Thank you so much. We'll be right back.
In addition to bringing back the jobs that have been lost this year, my plan will help create at least 5 million new, good-paying jobs. As experts have looked at it in manufacturing and innovation, create them right here in the United States of America.
On Joe Biden's first day in office, he killed thousands of American jobs. Joe Biden killed hundreds of Wisconsin jobs.
You're talking about 10,000 jobs in the $80,000, $90,000 an hour range that are gone.
All right, folks, we're back. Duke Machado back in this program to ask one more question. First of all, Kaitlin, thank you for being here with us and joining us. I know you're busy, so grateful to have you here. So my last question has to do with the border. I'm in Texas, And I'm telling you, I hear from Border Patrol, retired Border Patrol people. They're telling me what's going on, and it is crazy. And it hasn't even begun yet, they say. Joe Biden in this catch and release, we don't know who's here. We've got kids that are unaccompanied. We've got chaos right now. How do we reverse this course? What are your thoughts on a tactic that American people can take here?
I don't think we can do anything. This is in the hands of the Biden administration, and we tried to do something about it. We tried to vote, and I'm not so sure that they cared about our votes because they did what they wanted to make sure that they could win. Personally, I don't think there's any way Trump lost to that guy, but that's a discussion for another time.
Right. No, I agree.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think that was fair at all. I think we know who actually won, but we'll just pass on that. I don't think there's anything we can do except protect your family, focus on your community, and make sure that you are safe. Make sure your family's safe. And especially if you're in Texas, if you're in one of these border states, that's what you should do. That's the only thing you can do is make sure you have the means to defend your family and everything else. That's a good question, but I don't, and I hate to be sad and black-pilled right now, but that's the reality of it. The only thing we have control over is our own family, our own lives, and our own community that we can focus on because we can't change what Biden is doing. We knew it was coming. We can only prepare ourselves. And I just think shame on Biden for telling us we can't go to church or go to our grandfather's funerals or go to school, but these immigrants can come in. Immigrants? Whoa, my gosh. No, these aren't immigrants. These are illegal aliens, migrants that are crossing over the border. They haven't been tested. We don't know what they're bringing in. They've always brought in more, actually diseases in general over the whole time that we've been letting in people through the border unprocessed and unvetted. They've always brought diseases in, but now we're told there's a pandemic and they're going to let in millions of people. That's not okay.
It's a contradiction to their beliefs. Everyone should be masked and tested, but yet they're letting them in. One good thing, Governor Abbott here has launched what's called the Lone Star Initiative, and he's called our state police down to the border. He's called our guard down to the border, and so now they're trying to fill in, but still they're just overwhelmed, and it's just beginning. So I don't know. We'll keep tabs on it. Thank you again for all of your comments and for being with us tonight, Maiden.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kaitlin. Before we close, I just wanted to ask you, can you give some encouraging words for those people that are actually thinking about leaving the Democratic Party? Why do you think they should leave the Democratic Party?
What have they done for you? What have you gotten from voting Democrat? What have you gotten? Our gas prices are crazy right now. To try and build a house and get lumber, the prices are over 100% more than what they're supposed to be. They haven't done anything for us. With Trump, every demographic had a great unemployment rate. They were getting great wages. Our border was secure, and he did everything he could about this pandemic without stepping on our freedoms and our liberties. We also had the opportunity to defend ourselves. We didn't have someone that would jump at a disgusting massacre to take our guns. And that's with Trump, but that's also just with the Republican Party. The Republican Party is no longer the party that you guys think of spineless and just no courage, no kahoonies, whatever you want to call it. We are the party now that represents Donald Trump, and that's a strong party. We're not the flaky, squishy Republicans anymore. So you can toss that vision aside and see that now we've got a squishy, little nasty Democrat president that isn't doing anything for us. He focuses on illegals more than us, and he wants to shut us out of spending time with our family. And I know from speaking to Hispanics and being at Hispanic conventions, Hispanics love the family. That's what they focus on. Just like you said, they have a strong, and I love it, strong family values and family structure. Biden and Kamala Harris hate that. They don't like it. Democrats in general, they hate it. So you have nothing to lose. It's like Trump said, what do you have to lose? Those are my last words.
Awesome.
Thank you, Kaitlin. How can we reach out to you, or how can our public reach out to you if they want to get to know you more, or they want to donate to your cause?
So thank you. I appreciate that. You can actually donate directly to me at patreon.com/Kaitlin Bennett. But even more importantly, you can actually sign up at my website. I have a subscription-based, uncensored and unfiltered website, libertyhangout.tv, where I give my uncensored opinions, and I don't have to worry about big tech. A lot of people say, if you don't like the rules, go create your own platform. I did. And I speak freely there, and I'm very happy with it. So you can actually gain something and support my work at the same time.
Kaitlin Bennett, everyone. You have to reach out to her, take a look at her website, donate to her cause. This is Mayden Torres, the National Secretary for LEXIT USA. God bless you and have a great night.
No, this is a marketplace of ideas. I'm on a campus that I pay $30,000 a year to go to. If I want to say something, I'm going to say something. You can go. You don't go here. They're not paying attention. So for them,
Wait.
I want to point out, I just pulled out a Trump flag and they're all mad. And she just tried to take it from me.